Daisy Ridley does a Die Hard, but is it a good Die Hard or one of the bad Die Hards?
He's going to blow the building.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the MontyVerse. We just saw Cleaner, and we have a lot to talk about.
We do have a lot to talk about, because this is one that I was very curious about seeing.
Yeah, I mean, we went into this not really knowing much about the movie, other than, like, the synopsis of the film. This is the latest from legendary director Martin Campbell, who directed one of my favorite action movies of all time, Casino Royale. So I was really excited to check this out. The film stars Daisy Ridley as Joey Locke, an ex-soldier who now works as a window cleaner of a big high-rise building for a bunch of really rich, pompous jerks. And the whole plot of the film centers on the fact that an eco-terrorist group takes over the building, and Daisy Ridley's character needs to do a Die Hard.
She needs to do a Die Hard, and do a Die Hard she does do.
Yeah, this is a Die Hard. This is a fun little Die Hard.
It really is, and I mean, that's kind of the operative word, is fun, because I went into this really not knowing what it was going to be, but I honestly had a pretty good time with it. It definitely hits a lot of those similar action beats and story beats, especially with the villains, but I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, when we first got sent this screening, what immediately jumped out to me was the cast.
Yes.
The cast really drew me in and piqued my interest and really made me want to see this film, which is a film that really wasn't on my horizon at all this year.
No, not at all.
And in the cast, you have Daisy Ridley, who's the star of the film, and she is fantastic. What a charismatic individual. We were actually lucky enough to be at a screening that she did a Q&A for afterwards, and not only was she great in the film, but she just seems like such a wonderful person to be around. She just seems really great.
Yeah, and hearing her speak about the filmmaking process and how they had to do the stunt work and just the amount of time and training and effort that went into it also gave us a huge appreciation for the work put into it.
She was so wonderfully insightful, and I think that really helped to kind of understand her head space while making this movie, because she does some really fun things here.
Yeah, she does some very fun things and some very grueling looking stunt work that is, like we talked about, she's a window cleaner, so she's on that rise for a good portion of the movie.
Yeah, because this is a Die Hard, and we're going to keep saying that because it's funny, but
yeah.
in all senses of the word, this does follow the same formulaic structure of a Die Hard movie, right? It's like Speed is Die Hard on a bus, and Speed 2 is Die Hard on a ship. It's essentially like a group of terrorists take over a place, and one action hero needs to take down the group from the inside. And that's the structure of this film. But Daisy Ridley's character, Joey, spends a large portion of that film on the outside of the building, doing these really intense, height-based stunts that really helps to differentiate this movie.
Yes, and I think that plays into it very well, because there is a good amount of setup leading into when the eco-terrorists end up kind of taking everyone hostage and before she gets into the action. So she is alone for a good portion of the movie, but she is able to sell this character and get us invested enough to care about what's going on with her, along with everyone basically held captured in the building.
She has this inherent likability to her that you can't help but root for her, even when the beginning of the movie tries to make her character seem slightly unlikable. You're like, you could see the charm through the flaws.
Yeah, I don't entirely agree, because I think the movie sets up just enough about her background and her current circumstances that, at the very least, even though she is aloof, you do have sympathy for her.
Yes, you are sympathetic, but she is a flawed character.
Yes.
Which are the most interesting characters to me. I love characters that aren't perfect, and to see Daisy play this complex of a character was really, really fun to do. But speaking of those eco-terrorists, we have two really great actors portraying the villains in this film, which is Clive Owen and my boy.
Your boy.
My boy, Taz Skylar, who, if you guys have watched our One Piece reactions and reviews, I am a die-hard Sanji fan, and I think Taz did such a magnificent job of bringing my favorite character to life in a way that felt so true but so unique to him. And he's just really, really fun in this movie as well.
Yes. Well, the biggest thing is that he's just a complete and utter maniac.
Yeah, he's kind of a dick. And it's fun because it's so far removed from what we've previously seen him in, at least us anyway.
Yeah, because I think what works so well with the movie and with the characters and the villains very specifically is the fact that he acts as a very good foil to some of the other characters in this movie.
Yes, he is definitely there to serve a purpose, and by God, he serves that purpose.
Yes.
But while the simplicity of this film is definitely one of its strengths, it's also one of its greatest weaknesses as well.
Yeah.
Because the plot is basically your standard, Die Hard.
It really is, because it hits a lot of those beats, and I think it hits them effectively, but not 100% of the time in a way that's very hard hitting necessarily. Because like I said, there's a good amount of setup. You understand the key players on all sides of this conflict, and they're interesting enough, but nothing that I think hits it out of the park really in terms of story. The one thing I will say is there is a twist at some point.
Twist.
And that was one of the biggest turning points that did leave a huge impression on me. But I wouldn't say that really applies to the whole movie.
It's a fun twist. It's a really fun twist, and you're so involved in the story, and the story moves so fast at that point that it really helps you to lock in. But like we were saying, this movie does everything it's trying to do well, but it doesn't do anything that reinvents the wheel or does anything spectacular, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It kind of definitely plays it safe in a lot of areas, and I think that works to the film's detriment. But the things that it does try to do, it does do them.
Yeah, the thing that I think makes it stand out probably the most, and I certainly have not seen nearly as many Die Hards as you probably have.
I've seen a lot of Die Hards.
But one thing that I did really like, and that also elevated Daisy's character even further, is she has a brother in this movie. And her dynamic with this character is really well fleshed out, gives her a lot of motivation, and definitely endears us to both her and the brother.
Yes, and that's something that this film does do differently that I think works in this circumstance. I think it's in a very effective relationship. I think both actors are extremely good in their roles, and I love the way the film handles autism. In a lot of these action movies, disabilities can be played as superpowers, and they can really tone down the disabled part of the disability and really kind of put emphasis on, like, yeah, this person has disabilities, but they have superpower. Like, it's
Right,
just they use it as a superpower.
This is not a Rain Man scenario.
Yeah, and I think that to me helps to ground it and make it real. He's a real person, Joey's brother, and that helps me to appreciate the movie even more. I guess the only thing left to do is to rate this film, Nikki, on a scale of 1 to 5 plastic toy Thor hammers. Trust me, if you watch the movie, you'll understand that. What do you rate Cleaner?
Like I said, it's definitely enjoyable enough. It doesn't reinvent the wheel in any way, but I'm still glad I saw it. So I'm going to give this 3 out of 5 toy hammers.
What a coincidence, because I am also giving this film 3 out of 5 toy hammers because it is a very enjoyable movie. I would gladly watch this again on TV when it comes on. It is worth the ticket price of admission. It's definitely a fun popcorn movie that you can go see and enjoy and just turn your brain off and have fun. The performances are good. The action is solid. It's a good time. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all the latest content. If you want to check out other reactions and reviews, click the link on the page. And until next time, guys, stay versed.